Good evening, everyone. It may be the April of the 1st. However, we will not be making a fool of ourselves in the Mégane Trophy tonight. The drivers are taking part around this wonderful Japanese circuit as opposed to the Mie Prefecture. And this wonderful Suzuka track has been host to many fantastic events over the years, including, of course, Formula 1, the Endurance World Championship, Suzuka 8 Hours, even the Super GT Series, a fantastic category which is even here on Gran Turismo Sport, and the also very special 1,000 kilometres of Suzuka. But tonight it plays hosts for the 2 races at the Mégane Trophy, sponsored by Power Max Racing. We'll be driving around for round 3 here, and what a fabulous setting we're going to have for the races. We've been to Suzuka a number of times in the Mégane Trophy before, starting off in our first season way back in season 17 of NXTGEN. However, season 20 is the first time you find us on this GP loop of the circuit. You can see Dodge CF14 there just coming through turn 12 as he approaches down in the brakes into 3rd gear for turn 13 as the first part of spoon and the second part spoon out, so to speak. It's a great track and should be some interesting times set during this Lobby 2 practice session. We've still got 5 minutes, of course, before qualifying is due to get underway in these fantastic cars. Of course, the Méganes, if you didn't know already, 359 brake horsepower and a nice little bit of weight underneath them as well, just over a ton. So the cars are going to be very well suited to this circuit. The Mégane Lobby 2 drivers, they're saying the drivers looking for 2-minute 3s, possibly knocking on the door of 2-minute 2s, but that would be especially Lobby 1 type of pace. In terms of the championship though, looking at the standings, we can have a run through those very quickly before we go into qualifying. So at the moment it's NXTGEN Dominator 3 who leads the championship. He is on 73 points. He won in the first race last week, of course, at Sardinia. He had a bit of a torrid time in race 2, so he'll be hoping to get a bit of a better set of races tonight, does the Joyce Design driver. He's on 73 points. Right behind him though, as he comes across the line to start a flying lap, is D Hartley 79. He is currently 2nd in the championship, in the pits as well. Currently is D Hartley, 72 points, 1 point separates those two. Then there's a bit of a gap back to NXTGEN Danzo. He's 3rd on 53 points, but I have to say, Danzo, after his first ever win last week at Sardinia, got a very good shout tonight, has Danzo, around this circuit. We don't know what everyone's pace is exactly in terms of those that are out on track at the moment. We know a couple of drivers like Dominator 3 and Duskiver are in the 2-minute 3s, but Danzo, bit of a wild card for this one tonight. Big Madders is 4th, he's on 49 points. Dud's CF, who we were riding on board with earlier, he's on 47 points. KZ2 Hass, who you can see on the screen at the moment, he's 6th in the championship on 44. Chalk 12, he's in 7th on 43 points. Duskiver is 8th on 42 points. You don't forget he finished 3rd in the 2nd race last week, he's on 42. So the drivers from 4th to 9th, from Big Madders down to Duskiver, are separated, rather 4th to 8th, are separated by just 7 points. So expect to see some changes in those ranks. In 9th place is Shadowstalker. He's on 32 points. He's having a good season so far as Shadowstalker in the opening 4 races, in those opening 2 rounds. Bigsy, he's in 10th. He's on 31 points. Had a little bit of a difficult time as of late. 1805, he is 11th in the championship. He's on 26 points currently, and you can see 1805 just running around. He's got a little bit of a tribute on his car there. As you can see, he's just running it during the practice session. Rest in peace, obviously, for one of the members on the front of his bonnet there as part of Sim Racing Paddock. Nice little tribute that 1805 there has done for William, which sad moments, of course, but 1805 just represented him. And hopefully 1805, he's had a bit of difficulty recently. He was in the hunt for a race victory in the opening 4 races, but couldn't quite pull it off. So he'll be hoping that potentially he can maybe score a podium. He did in the opening race. He's hoping to try and catch that again at Suzuka. 1805, don't forget, one of those drivers who's never won a Grand Prix despite having taken part in the opening season here with NXTGEN in this Mégane car as he chucks it into the turn 11 hairpin. Then we've got NXTGEN the belt. He is in 12th in the championship standings, and he's not in the lobby at the moment as NXTGEN the belt. Hopefully he'll be able to get in. Greener Army 2009 is back. good to see him. He missed the last round. He's in the pit lane at the moment. KZ2 Haas has just asked me a question saying, are track limits set to week? They are. To answer that question, it's Big Madaz doing a 2-minute 3.4. Good lap time from him. Right in the thick of it will Big Madaz be. And the 55.8 is last in the championship, 14th with 5 points, but he won't be taking part tonight. So unfortunately, some particular concerns in terms of care at home. So we wish him all the best with that. Let's have a quick message back into the chat. Because they are set to week, they should be fine. Double check, why not? I might as well always check the settings just to make sure that they are all correct. I'll just double check and see where the track settings are. Yes, it is, yeah. Just a quick thank you there from KZ2 Haas, who looking for a race win. It's been a long time. As Dominator 3 just chucking himself through the chicane there. 1805's just leaving the room, so he's putting himself out there for a wonderful tribute, and we'll wait for 18 to rejoin before we come back, or rather we start qualifying. Hello to everyone who's just joined. 1805's just spotted himself back in. A bit of a plug for a particular favourite of his in the chat there. But Big Madaz setting the pace at a 2-minute 3.4. That's 7 tenths clear of Next Gen Dominator 3, and that's a very good showing from the Master Vault driver. He'll got his first podium in round 2, race 2 last week, so he'll be open to do that. Dale has just put a comment in. Good evening to you, Dale. Hopefully the show tonight will give you a bit of an entertaining evening on this Thursday, the 1st of April. April Fool's Day. Hopefully we can get things sorted in a moment. I'll just double check to see if 1805 has indeed joined. He has. So I think everyone has registered by the looks of things. I'll just make sure everyone register. Just to make sure everything's sorted. That's what we want to make sure, that the drivers are all in. Looks like everybody is in. There's a couple of drivers going out on circuit. There's 12 tonight, so Next Gen the Belt and 55.8 are going to be the absentees, unfortunately, but we'll get into qualifying. We'll see how the drivers get on around this fantastic circuit. I'm Jack TM53, of course. I'll be running you through the events of tonight. It's going to be a very interesting circuit to race on. We normally take the racing around the East circuit, but like I said, in practice this is the first time we've done a full GP run, and Greener Army the most eager of them all to get out on circuit around this great circuit. Many amazing events over the years, of course. Obviously those that have a bit older will remember the infamous fight going into the chicane between Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost, and as well the follow-up the year later going into turn 1 they were at it again. But hopefully none of that will happen for tonight's race. Obviously this track is 3.6 miles long, 18 corners. Lap record around here I believe was set by Lewis Hamilton 2 years ago. I think he did a 1-minute 30 or a 1-minute 31. The Mégane's definitely not Formula 1 speed in any case. Skyver's, it says he's at the front of the kit. Oh, Greener Army's just gone off into the gravel trap at Degner 2. He's just waiting to let everybody back past. So I think it'll be Duds who's taking the lead of the queue. Duds was looking pretty consistent during practice, but whether he can keep that up during the actual race itself is going to be very difficult. Turn 11 is going to be a point of contention for overtakes, and Haas overtakes Duds coming out of it, so he's just prompted me already on that one. The 3M car. Haas, of course, returning to the Mégane for the first time since season 17 this season. He's been up near the front. He's had a good few number of battles. He led whilst at Dragon Trail earlier on in the season, but he hasn't quite been at the front at Sardinia. He was there or thereabouts, but he just couldn't quite make that decisive move. So Haas will be hoping tonight that his fortunes change a little bit, try and get a podium. He hasn't had one yet this season. It'd be great to see him back on the rostrum. And he will be the first driver to set a lap. Shadowstalker's got himself into second, but we will ride with Haas. First time we've been able to do this since season 17. So he comes out of turn 18 and onto his first flying lap. Remember, the pole time we're looking at is around a 2-minute 3 potentially. So let's see if KZ2 can get anywhere near that. Up into 6th gear. Is he going to go? There he goes, into 150 mile an hour. Down on the brakes into turn 1. He's missed the apex a little bit, but he should, if he can get it stopped, but he can't, turn the corner round through turn 2. Lost a little bit of time. Then he's coming into the S's now. 4th gear for the first part. Should be pretty straightforward in the Méganes, and he clips the apexes very nicely. Still stays in 4th gear as he comes into the anti-bank curve, which is, there we go, turn 6 as Haas dips down the gear, and then back up to 4th for Dunlop, which is turn number 7. Right on the end of the apex was Haas there, but he's just about got away with it. This long sweeping corner goes on forever as we come into the first of the 2 Degner corners. Clips the apex well, then down into 3rd gear for Degner 2. Chucks the car in nicely, really nice part of that corner there for KZ2 Haas. Then he's up to 4th gear, goes into this completely flat right-hander at turn 10, and then on the brakes down into 2nd gear for turn 11. He's got the car turned in quite nicely, a little bit late on the power, but he should be able to consolidate his exit, which he has done. Then it's completely flat through turn 12 underneath the Suzuka circuit sign, and just swings himself to the right hand side to get himself prepared for spoon 1. Down into 4th, he's got to clip the white line, which he does, then runs it out a little bit. It's gone a little bit late, but he's kept the line relatively well as Haas, and then out up into 4th gear. Then he'll be climbing through the gears now up into 5th underneath this Panasonic sign. Going to be probably reaching about 150 potentially mile an hour as they approach 130R. 130 degree left-hander chucks the car in completely flat almost in the Mégane. Just a quick bite on the throttle, then onto the brakes, into the chicane, down into 2nd. He's gone a bit deep, that's going to cost him some time. Coming out of the final corner, he comes over the curb, keeps the car tucked in. What's this lap time going to be then from KZ2 Haas? It's a 2-minute 4.3 in the 3M car. Good lap time from Shadowstalker, 2-minute 4. Hartley gets himself into the 2-minute 4s as well. Big Madaz, 2-minute 4.2. What about Dominator? He also does a 2-minute 4, looking very close in the opening runs. Chalk's just gone and done a 2-minute 8. There's 18.05, setting a lap time. What about Disciver? He gets himself up to 3rd. It's a good lap from Disciver. Duds has come across the line. He's up to 4th. That's another good strong lap time from him. And Greener Army's going to be the last one to come round. I suspect he's going to be in the 2-minute 14s. He's proved me wrong. He's in the 2:13s. Danzo is only just now going on to his 2nd lap. I think Danzo's had a bit of an error somewhere on circuit, so it might be a commentator's curse, but it's Big Madaz who leads the way. Don't forget, the only driver who's had pole position this season is Dominator 3. And at the moment, Dominator down in 5th place. So, Big Madaz, number 3 car, provisionally pole, but there's still 4.5 minutes left in this session. Don't forget, big circuit, 10-minute qualifying. Drivers won't have much time to set a clean lap, and they have to try and avoid some of the foibles of this circuit. It's not an easy circuit to try and line up. It's not like Formula 1 where you can get away with a corner or two. The Méganes, you lose a lot of time around this track. So they have to be careful. They have to get every sequence right as he comes through Spoon Curve now, does Big Madaz. Haas also on a lap. He's going to be coming towards the timing beam for Sector 2. Let's see if he's improving on this lap at all. Doesn't tell us whether he is or not, which is perfectly timed. Oh, there we go. There's Shadowstalker then. Must have missed Haas's timing screen there. So we'll go back to Haas. Get a lot of screen coverage so far as the 3M driver. 2nd on the grid at the moment. Hasn't had pole position before, has Haas, so doesn't look like he's going to improve on this time. Dominator 3 is rubbed deep at the chicane, so he's not going to improve. Hartley improves, Big Madaz improves, so he's got himself into the 2-minute 3s now. Big Madaz with a roughly 4/10 gap to the cars behind him. Dud's clipping that corner nicely. NXTGEN Biggsy does a 2-minute 5, that moves him up to 8th. Then Danzo beats that with a 2-minute 4.9. What about Duds as he comes towards the line? That's a good lap time, and Duds moves himself into 2nd place. Best ever qualifying for Duds was 5th place. He's had 2 of them. So 2nd place, right on the mark for the fast car. Really good driving from him. Right on the back of Big Madaz, who's gone off. He's gone off by the looks of it at turn 6. Yeah, he's made a mistake. He's returned to the pits. He's got enough time to set another lap. Will he choose to do so? Duds, though, purple in the first sector, so Duds is looking like a man on a mission at the moment. He runs right over to the edge of the exit curb, coming out of Dunlop. Still leading the way. There's Duskiver, there's Hartley. Dominator down in 6th. Watch out for Dominator in the race, though. We know he's quick during it. Shadowstalker in 7th. He's being stalked by D. Hartley. Very competitive showing from Shadowstalker so far. Up in 7th place. But still, enough time for another lap after this one for the drivers. So lots of potential opportunities for drivers to be shuffled around the grid. Watch as Shadowstalker comes towards the Sector 2 timing beam. He's 8/10ths down, so he's not going to improve on this lap. What about D. Hartley? Will he improve at all? No, he's made a mistake somewhere. Dominator? Dominator's improving. He's 3/10ths up as he comes through 130R. Completely flat for Dominator as he went through the corner. On the brakes, down into 3rd gear for Dominator. Haas moves himself onto a better time, but he's still 3rd. He's got a couple of attempts to find. What about Dominator now as he comes towards the line? We'll ride on board with him. Is it going to be a 2-minute 4? It is, and he just bumps himself up to 3rd place. So despite this circuit being over 2 minutes long, the drivers are absolutely neck and neck as 18:05 goes up to 4. Fantastic effort from him. Haas is 5th, Duskiver's 6th, Hartley's 7th, Biggsy's 8th, and on the grass. So I think that's it for Biggsy. He's not going to improve any further than that. Danzo's 9th, Shadowstalker 10th. The top 10 within a second. So despite the pre-race concerns that the drivers would be spread out a little bit, it's turning out to be quite a competitive qualifying session. Chalk, he's a little bit further down than you'd expect him to be as Duskiver moves up to 1st. Provisionally, that's a good lap time from Duskiver. A 2-minute 3.5. Not the outright fastest we've seen, so he's got to keep pushing. He's got one more lap, but he's got 4.5 to Big Madaz, who won't improve now. That is a marker. The man who got himself his 1st ever podium in the Méganes last week is currently sat on provisional pole. And let's not forget, last week he started 2nd and he didn't get the best of start, slipped right the way down. Duds is improving. So, see how the drivers are getting on. There's 18:05. Just coming out of Degner 2 he was there. Hartley just coming round Spoon Curve. Lap times, this is it now for the drivers. So we'll just stay with Haas as he comes towards 130R for the final time. What does the sector time say? It's half a second down. What about Shadowstalker? He's not improving either. Drivers are finding it difficult to try and find any time. Hartley is improving though. Only by 1/10. But this could be very important. Don't forget, 2nd in the championship, only 1 point behind Dominator. He needs this lap. Haas has gone into the pit lane, so he's certainly not going to improve. Shadowstalker's coming towards the line. He's not improved. What about D. Hartley? Is he going to make any time up? No, he doesn't. He doesn't at all. What about Dominator? That's not going to be an improvement from Dominator. Just looking to see who's next on circuit. Someone's coming out of the final corner. We can't catch them, unfortunately. It's Chalk. He sets a 2-minute 5. So he probably has got himself a little bit closer to the field. But 1.7, he is behind Duskiver. Duds is not improving. Unfortunately for Duds, it's not worked out. And the other driver, 18:05, who's behind him, just practicing starts. I think. It looks like he is, potentially. So we just watched Duskiver coming around that final corner. Is he going to improve? Oh, he's 7/1000ths of a second down on his best pole position time. Biggsy's on a lap, but he's not going to improve. And that's Greener Army who comes towards the line. He goes a little bit quicker. It's a 2-minute 9, so he's within just about 6 seconds of Duskiver. That's a very good effort from the Dreadman, despite the fact that it's a bigger circuit. He's right there. In terms of being able to put in a decent showing, he'll be quite happy with that. But it's just Skyver who takes pole position then for race 1. He was on the front row last week, he was second and he didn't get the best starts and he got crowded out in the end and he ended up round. So he'll be hoping this time gets the start right, moves himself up the field. Big Mad as is second. What could have been for him? He had another chance to set a second lap, but he didn't get around to it in the end. Dud's third, Dominator, the championship leaders, is on the second row. So not the outright quickest, but there where he needs to be as we go into the race. What a opportunity this could be for the front 3 drivers. They've never won a race before in the Meganes. It's Skyver on the right hand side in that white and purple car. There's Big Madaz on the left in that blue and grey Mastervolt livery car. 20 minutes on the right hand side. Here come the numbers. And the race is live from Suzuka. It looks like a relatively decent start from Skyver. The front 2 have got away well. Dominator's had a fantastic start though, and he's already passed Duds, who's going backwards before they get to turn 1. It's going to be Skyver who leads. Big Mad second, Dominator's third. There's 1805. He's got Duds right behind him. Haas and Duds leaning on one another. Then there's a little bit of a fight for 7th place between Hartley, but Haas is going to have to slot himself in, which he does. He sits in 6th place for the time being. Hartley 7th. There's Bigsy. There's Danzo trying to get in the mix of it all. Don't forget, 3rd in the championship. Danzo needs to try and make some positions up if he can't do so in the opening few laps. Chalk's there in 11th, and Greener Army runs through. But good start from everyone. Nice and clean so far on the Meganes. But look at this. Big Madaz already wanting to get on with the job. He's trying to get around Skyver. Going to be quite difficult. In the background you can see Haas and Duds having a good fight for 5th, but Haas has gone deep into Degner 1. He's got to be careful not to hit the back of Duds, which he doesn't. Good car control. Might lose a position now to D Hartley. There's a little penalty for someone in front. Hartley trying to go up the inside for the outside of turn 11 at the hairpin. Going to be difficult to try and go around the outside of there, but he's going to give it his best chance. Haas gives him he just squeezes him out a little bit, but nothing doing in terms of contact. But it's been a very clean start from the drivers. Really good to see. Big Madaz being challenged and overtaken by Dominator 3, but Big Madaz is on the inside coming into Spoon. But Dominator goes around the outside of him, and Dominator up to 2nd then, championship leader, making the moves that he needs to. 1805's up to 4th now. Dud's down to 5th. Not the best to start, so we'll just back out so we can get all the camera angles. There we go. Skyver 1.4 is the gap for him, but Dominator's got issues. Big Madaz right behind him. He's not going to try and go around the outside as he's coasted. He's gone wide. He's going to lose a position if he's not careful. Oh, and Dud's is trying to make it 3 wide. Surely not. Big Madaz breaks a little bit earlier. Doesn't want to get involved in that, but he's lost 2 positions instead of 1. Brave by Duds, but brilliantly done. He gets up to 4th. 1805 up into 3rd, trying to get himself a good result in terms of tribute. And here comes 1805 now. That steel seal car's on the inside of the championship leader coming towards turn number 1. 1805 on the inside up to 6th gear, 150 mile an hour. He brakes just a touch later and he gets the move done. Door to door contact, but nothing major. Dud's trying to sneak his nose up the inside now, coming out of turn 2. Is there enough of a gap for him to go past? He's going to try and go around the outside at the S's, and he just backs out of it, thinking better of it. Big Madaz then started 2nd, down in 5th. D Hartley's in 6th place. There's Haas in 7th, Big C's 8th, Danzo's 9th, Shadowstalker in 10th, Greener Army's up to 11th. Chalk's not having the best time. Doesn't seem to be Chalk's potentially good circuit for him. But Skyver, 2-second gap to the good. Number 99 driver, backed by Zerkatech. Can he potentially take a race win? It'd be fantastic for him if he can. 1805's in 2nd, a very good showing so far. Dominator 3's in 3rd. There's Duds in 4th. And Big Madaz in 5th. It looks like these 3... Oh, and that's Dominator's gone wide, so Duds is just going to slide on past. He's got to do it the long way, though, round turn 12 if he can. And he does. Gets the momentum. And Duds is up to 3rd. So, Duds is just a little bit wide. He's got to be careful. That AstroTurf will take the drivers off onto that runoff. And it's exactly the same coming out of Spoon 2 as well. It'll take them into the gravel trap, though, instead. But Dudds is up to third. He's having a good race. Despite his start, slipped back, got himself right back in the action. He's in the slipstream of 18.05. He's got a lot of momentum. But he just caught 18.05 at the wrong time. 18.05 on the brakes. Dudds trying to go around the outside, giving each other just enough room, but 18.05 shuts the door. Dominator will be looking at this, thinking, how can he get involved? Little bit of a gap to Big Mad As. Haas is being pressured now by D. Hartley. You see the slipstream train already is starting for the drivers up ahead. See, look how close at the back. Dudds is going to 18.05. I think Dudds probably believes he's quicker than 18.05, and he's showing it at the moment. There's a little chance for 18.05 to try and defend now. Can Dudds go around the outside? He can't. Dominator 3 was looking for a little bit of a potential sneaky move up the inside. Couldn't quite get underneath the fast car. Big Mad As is closing as a result. There's Haas in 7th. Hartley rather is in 7th. There's Haas in 6th. Biggsy's 8th. Azo 9th. Shadowstalker 10th. Greener Army and Chalk. Chalk not having a good time by the looks of things. But the Skyver is being allowed to run away at the moment with no concerns for him. He's got 4 seconds on the big fight at the back, and that's Dominator 3. He's gone into the gravel trap coming out of Degner 1. He's sort of impeded Big Mad As accidentally, but Big Mad As looks like he's going to try and go around the outside. Bit of contact going into the hairpin at turn 11. Dudds is clear of this. He needs to get away now if he can, but Dominator holds on despite that scare at Degner 2. Big Mad As, watch this train of cars. Actually, Danzo's just on the back of this, so it's effectively a rather big 7-car fight for third, because Dudds isn't exactly clear yet. He's right there. You can see all the drivers squabbling at the moment. Here comes an opportunity for Haas then, in the slipstream on the back of Big Mad As. He's a little bit closer than Big Mad As is to Dominator 3, so he should get a better momentum. Will that set up a chance going into turn 16 and 17? A little bit tighter to the line is Haas. That's a good opportunity. He's on the inside. He's lined it up well. On the brakes is the 3M driver. He's on the inside. Big Mad As trying to turn in on him. Not realistically going to work. Bit of contact more coming out of the corner, but Haas takes that 5th place. Good move from Haas. Set it up through 130R, and Bigsy's seen that opportunity. He wants to get involved too. Which way do you defend if you're KZ2 Haas? He's not defending at the moment, and Big Mad As is going to try and swing to the inside. Is he going to try and look at the move? Not quite. Bigsy's hit him though. Oh, it's Big Mad As just about holds onto the car. No positions lost. Bigsy lucky that Big Mad As didn't go off the circuit. Both drivers big, but both of them small in terms of points at the moment. 6th and 7th. Going to try and move a bit further up if they can. Hartley is in 8th. He's been joined by Danzo, who's backed himself onto that group. Shadowstalker's not too far away. Just probably could do with a bit more slipstream. He'll need it. Any more fighting from the guys in front of him and he'll be on the way. A peculiar line taken by Big Mad As there. He went on the grass. Bigsy trying to look for a move at Degner 2, but not historically, never really been a overtaking place in the forms of cars in any sense. Back for the fight for second. 18.05 has been closed up by Dudds, so expect fireworks between those two. After what happened in race 2 last week, those two came to blows. They both ended up off the podium after fighting for the lead. So these two just got to keep themselves tidy, but it doesn't look like they are already. Dudds has got a very good run out of Spoon too. He's got a nice run on the slipstream. Well, right on the floor camera. Dudds is probably going to have to try and go to the outside. He might have caught 18.05 just a touch too early. On the outside goes Dudds as they come towards 130R. Is he really going to try and go around the outside? He's going to give it a go. He's going to give it a go. Is Dudds. He's still there. He's still there, is Dudds. He's on the inside now for the chicane, but 18.05 breaks so much later and keeps the position. I have to say that was really impressive driving from the pair of them. Lovely and clean. Dudds is still not giving up though. And they've both got to be careful because Dominator's right there and he sort of knocks between the two and he's straight through. Duds is trying to go to the outside this time. He's going to try it again. Round turn 1. I've not seen this done before, but Duds has already proven he can try it. He's going to try and go around the outside, this Duds. Can he hold it? Can he turn it in? He can. What an overtake by Duds CF14. He moves into second place. Phenomenal overtake from the fast car. And now he can try and break the gap to 18.05. I have to say, racing absolutely exquisite between the two. Really kept it clean. 18.05 still in for a podium though. It make a very good tribute for his livery that he did earlier on. But he's got to just keep his focus now. Keep pushing where he can. You can see Duds is already just pushing the boundaries. Here comes Dominator. He's trying to go around the outside for turn 11. Sets up on the inside for turn 10. Little bit of contact between the two. Dominator swings the car in nice and early, but he can't get on the throttle as early as he wanted to. And 18.05 just squirrels away. These three have gapped Haas. Big Mad as in 6th. Danzo 7th. Hartley's down to 8th. Hartley not having the best of races so far. But he's in position for race 2. You can fancy his chances against Shadowstalker. What's happened to Bigsy down in 10th place? He's done a 2.18 on that last lap while we were watching the fight for second place. Is Chalk in 11th, Greener Army in 12th. But Duskiver leads the way at the moment. Oh, look at this, 18.05 having to defend from Dominator again, but he holds it this time. 3.130R. Dominator trying to look up the inside at the chicane. No opportunities there. Using as much of the road as he could there because Dominator, but look at the momentum that 18.05 gets, and that's actually a slowdown for Dominator. Half the race still to go. Drivers not finding this circuit easy at all. Duds with the best lap there, 2 minute 3.1. Duds is absolutely flying. He took 6/10 out of the back of Duskiver on that last lap. What can he do in this fight? Big Madaz and Hartley have gone down in the meantime. There's Danzo. Danzo up in 6th place at the moment, but Big Madaz has gone backwards and Hartley has too. So not working out well for these two drivers at the minute. But like I said earlier, these two, both very good drivers, both combative, both happy to put in a good shift defensively. They'll have a good chance for race 2. Dominator though has to try and find a way of getting past 18.05 and get rid of that penalty at the same time. He's done a personal best sector 1 there. Duds hasn't escaped though. 18.05's doing well to just hang on to the back of that fast car. 2 minute 3.1, but I don't think this is going to be the same time. I think Duds has made a mistake somewhere, because that gap's over 5 seconds now. So Duds evidently has the speed, but he's just got to keep it on the circuit. Look at Dominator freeze all over the back of 18.05 again. He's actually hit the back of 18.05 and it gives him another boost as well. A little bit of bump drafting going on from these two. Ooh, Dominator got his line wrong though, so that's going to cost any chance of him getting an overtake on this lap. But if he gets a good run, which he doesn't, he's not as confident as 18.05, although as I say that, 18.05 gets a little bit sideways coming out of the penultimate corner there at turn 17. He's just losing a bit of time, is Dominator, and it's just stopping him from the best overtaking opportunities really. Coming out and into turn 1. Oh, he's braked a lot later. He's going to try and look to the outside, I thought for a moment. Dominator just all over the rear spoiler of 18.05. 18.05 just covers his line. He's allowed to make one move, which he did. Dominator, you know, has to just keep his focus, keep himself steady. He doesn't need to try anything rash. He needs to remember his closest rival D Hartley 79 is in 7th place. Still going to be gaining a good number of points on him in this opening round. There's the door opening. Not quite. 1805 almost teasing Dominator with the chance, and off the circuit goes 1805. 1805 just got it a little bit wrong. Going into Degner 2, he was fortunate enough not to lose it, and Dominator clearing his penalty. Hasn't cleared all of it, but I could see why he's done it there. I could see why he's tried that. So Dominator still in 4th, Danzo's in 6th, Hartley 7th, Big Mad is 8th, Shadow Stalker in 9th, Bigsy's in the top 10. Bigsy with a personal best that last lap, so not sure what happened to the Hampshire car. He made a mistake somewhere by the evidence on lap 4, but we haven't seen what happened to him. Chalk had a very rough opening 3 laps, but he's back at it now. 2 minute 4.5, that's where he needs to be if he wants to be in this fight, so could be an opportunity for him in the reverse grid race coming up shortly. 5 minutes to go. Duds has gapped 1805, and Dominator, who's still looking for a way through. He's got to try and clear that penalty, but Haas is coming up on them very quickly. 1805 deep into the corner, and that duo has become a trio in this fight for this final podium with a quarter of the race remaining, enough for 3 laps. Who will be the first to blink? Is 1805 going to try and defend? He's not. He's going to leave the gap, and he's gone through as Dominator, and into the podium places goes Dominator. Is Haas trying to take the long way round? Oh, he's just got it wrong coming out of turn 2. That will cost him all of his momentum, and might even give Danzo an opportunity at scoring 5th place. Just unwanted attention for Haas, and that duo, which very quickly became a trio, has just as quickly become a duo once again. 1805 push into the extremities of Dunlop Corner there through turn 8. They come now. Straight through Degner 1, right on the limit is Dominator 3. He's got to just stick with him as 1805. A podium is still on. Still an opportunity for both of these drivers. Dominator will know he's getting two extra points on D. Hartley at the moment in this championship fight. 1805 got a very good run coming out of the hairpin. Let's have a look then as they come towards Spoon Curve. Will he try and cut to the inside? He's thinking about it, but he slots in behind. Oh, they're both wide coming out of Spoon. They both got it wrong. Who gets back on circuit quicker? It's 1805, and Dominator's round. Dominator goes round. He got it wrong at Spoon. He's got to wait. He's going to have to wait until Shadow Stalker goes past him. And unfortunately for Dominator, our championship lead has gone off again. 2 races in a row. Unbelievable. Will Bigsy have enough momentum? I don't think he will. But dramatic scenes. Oh, Big Madaz trying to have a move on D. Hartley. So D. Hartley, as a result, leads the championship. He probably wouldn't have expected that 2 minutes ago, but he is at the moment. Just got to keep it on circuit. Danzo has found himself in 5th. Probably wondering how. But he's there, in the top 5 again. So, 2 laps to go for the drivers on this first race of 2. Duds has settled himself into a routine. He's happily sat in 2nd place. He'll take that. He's been a little bit quicker on a last lap compared to Skiver, but Skiver driving a really measured and controlled race to number 99. He put in a very impressive performance last week to get his first podium, and he's 2 laps away from a potential race win, but he's still got that time to go. It's on a personal best sector there, did Skiver. Shows he's still pushing at the moment. There's Duds still in 2nd. 1805's got 1.6 to Haas. But Haas has been looking very racy, and if it hadn't been for his mistake a lap ago, he'd be right in the thick of the fight for 3rd. He is closing the gap to 1805, so this battle's not over at all. 1805 very good at coming off the corners. He seems to be having a really good hook through that track. Coming out of turn 11. As Danzo in 5th. He's not too far away if things were to kick off in front of him. D. Hartley's 6th, Big Madaz 7th, Shadow Stalker just in 8th. It's all going to come down to this potential final lap battle between Haas and 1805 for third place, as Duskaiver comes around the final corner to start what will be his final lap. 1805 though, leading the way. Oh, he's gone deep. He's leading the battle for third, but he won't be for much longer if Haas can try and get a move. The pressure is going on to 1805. He's looking for his second podium of the season. KZ2 Haas looking for his first podium since season 17. 1805 not defending. Going into turn 1, he's left the inside door open. Haas will happily try and exploit that. They make contact going into turn 1. 1805 just breaks out of it. Didn't want to go off the circuit. Haas runs deep coming out of turn 2. Danzo's getting involved in this too. He's right there with them. And the fight for third place becomes not a solo car or even a double. There's 3 of them now, all fighting for that final stop on the rostrum. 3 drivers. Haas, 1805, Danzo. All deserving of a podium. But what can they do with this final lap? There's not many opportunities for an overtaking spot apart from on the final back straight in terms of conventional overtakes. Oh, 1805 is just a little bit deep. It's going to cost the momentum to Danzo, who could see another 4th place, second 4th for him this season if he could get it. Oh, and 1805's locked the front right. Really good switch out of the corner from Danzo, but he's not going to be alongside enough. We are officially now on the final lap, according to the GT Sport countdown, and Haas might have just extended his gap there. Look at Danzo, he's going to try and move up the inside, not quite. 1805 locking a brake. This fight's going to carry on for a couple of more corners, but I will cut back to Duskaiver because he deserves the camera and the screen time. He's been absolutely fantastic through this race. He got pole, he's led every lap. It's the Grand Kellum. It's a race win for the first time ever in the Méganes. It goes to Duskaiver, who wins race 1 at Suzuka. Duds is going to come home in second. He should be able to clear that penalty with no issues. There's Haas in third. Great result for him. 1805 in the end, holds on to 4th. Hartley's going to get 5th because of Danzo's penalty. He's made a mistake somewhere as Danzo, and D. Hartley takes it. Danzo 6th, Bid Mad has 7th. Shadow Stalker just clearing his penalty too. He's going to finish in 8th. Good points on the board for Shadow Stalker. Dominator is just going to hold on from Big Z. 9th place in the end for the championship. Well, was championship leader heading into this round. Big Z 10th. And here comes Chalk. He's got to come home in 11th with a cracking lap time on lap 8 from Chalk. Carina Army, already seen the flag, but it's Duskaiver, your race 1 winner. Start to finish, pole position, absolutely superb. Well done to Duskaiver. Excellently executed race for him. He's done very well. Congratulations as well to Duds for second place. He drove very well, did Duds. Might be one to keep an eye out on this reverse grid race. We know he's good at making those moves early on. Of course, everyone's got to keep it clean. And well done to KZ2 Haas, his first podium in the Méganes since he last raced in season 17. Really well done for him in that 3M car. So I'll just switch the event settings around, which I'll do shortly. But in the meantime, that's it for race 1. Do tune in a few moments time and I'll be live with race 2 of Lobby 2 for that reverse grid race. Don't forget, it's 15 minutes for that. So I'll see you very shortly.